Today I'm making homemade chicken sandwiches. To get started, I'm using 1.5 pounds of boneless, skinless chicken breast. I had 3 chicken breasts and I cut 2 of them in half. I split them into 2 pieces, which gave me 4 out of the 2 chicken breasts, and the third chicken breast I cut into strips for chicken tenders. Now I'm going to place all my chicken pieces in my storage bag, and I'm going to brine or marinate it. I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of Louisiana hot sauce and 1 cup of pickle juice. If you do not like the flavor of pickle juice, you definitely can substitute it with buttermilk. Now I'm going to close the bag, give it a good mix, and place it in my refrigerator to marinate for at least 1 hour. I'm going to let it go for about an hour and a half. In the meantime, I'm going to work on the dredge. This is what I'm going to coat the chicken with. Here I have 1 3/4 cup of all-purpose flour. To that I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of paprika, 1.5 teaspoons of lemon pepper, 1/4 teaspoon of cracked black pepper, 2 teaspoons of chicken bouillon powder, 1 teaspoon of onion powder, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder. Here I have 1 tablespoon of powdered sugar. A commenter in my last Chick-Fil-A video said that's the secret to the crust, so I'm adding it. I'm also going to add 1 tablespoon of dry milk powder. And before I forget, I'm adding a 1/2 teaspoon of fine salt. I'm going to give it a mix, and this is the dredge. You definitely can adjust or add other seasonings and spices if you like. So it has been an hour and a half, and I've removed the chicken from the brine, and I have it here in a bowl. So now I'm going to work on the wet ingredients. In another bowl, I'm going to add 1 large egg. I'm going to give it a good mix and add it to my chicken. I'm also going to be adding a 1/3 cup of whole milk. And with my hands, I'm just going to give it a mix, and this is the wet coating for the chicken. Now I'm ready to start dredging my chicken. So I have my chicken soaking in the egg mixture. I have my dry flour dredge, and I'm also going to be placing it on a baking sheet to set after coating it. I am going to be doing a double coat, but I'm going to coat all the chicken pieces in a single coating first. So I'm going to take a piece of my chicken here and let some of that wet dredge drip off of it and place it into my flour. And I try to do the wet hand, dry hand, but sometimes I just forget. But you'll want to coat it well on both sides, shake it off, and place it on your baking sheet and repeat the process. Okay, so now that all of my chicken has been coated once, I'm going to go in for a double coating since I have extra wet and dry dredge. And I'm just going to repeat the process for all of my chicken pieces. And once all of my chicken is coated, I'm going to allow them to set for about 15 minutes. You'll want to let it set for at least 10 minutes. This will help the coating or the crust stick when you go to fry it. And letting it set out for about 15 minutes also takes the chill off and cook evenly. So I'm going to create a sauce. This is really easy, and I kind of eyeballed it, but here I have about a 1/3 cup of mayo, a tablespoon of coarse ground mustard. I'm going to add 1/8 teaspoon of paprika, 1/8 teaspoon of onion powder, 1 tablespoon of honey, a little bit of hot sauce, maybe a tablespoon, and give it a good mix. You can adjust the ratios of this, and you could also use yellow mustard if that's what you have. It totally works. So I'm just going to let this set until I'm ready to use it. Okay, so my chicken has set, and I'm going to cook 1 chicken breast in the air fryer. For those of you that always ask when I fry chicken or fried chicken wings, you always wonder if you can use the air fryer. So here we go. I'm brushing oil on one side, and I'm going to place it in this air fryer bucket here. And on the opposite side, I'm going to brush a little more cooking oil. And I'm going to be cooking this in the air fryer at 400 degrees Fahrenheit for about 6 minutes or so. It's not going to take long because my chicken pieces are very thin. So halfway through the cook time, I'm going to open up the air fryer and give the chicken a flip. carefully. And as I'm flipping it here, I already feel the crust set and kind of crispy, so that totally works. So I'm going to let it continue cooking for the remainder of the cook time. It's another 3 minutes. And once it's done, I'm going to place it on a wire rack and just let it set, and it's cooked. This totally works. So for those of you that want the air fryer option, that's how you do it. It works. Okay, so for the rest of my chicken pieces, I have my fry oil preheated to about 365 degrees Fahrenheit, and I'm just going to cook them in batches. I probably could get away cooking 2 pieces, but for the first one, I just added 1 chicken breast that I coated, and I'm going to cook this in the fry oil for about 5 to 6 minutes. Like I said, the cook time will vary depending on how cold your chicken is and how thick it's cut. So halfway through, I'm going to give it a flip and let it continue frying. And the crust looks great on this. So I'm going to remove it from my fry oil and place it on a wire rack set on a baking sheet just to let it rest and hang out. So I have fried all of my chicken, and I'm ready to start building this chicken sandwich. But I want to show you, I wanted to take a bite of the air fryer piece, and like I said, the crust totally came out crispy and crunchy. It's not as golden brown, but it does taste good, and it is a great option. So for today's chicken sandwich, I'm using store-bought brioche buns, and I'm just going to butter a griddle and toast them over a low heat until they get golden brown and toasty, and I'm ready to put the sandwich together. It's so easy, and you can top your sandwich however you like with fresh lettuce, tomato, and onion, but I'm going to keep it simple with my sauce and pickles only. Here we go. I hope you give this recipe a try. I hope you like it, and thanks for watching.